live on this stuff. That's fun. All right. Hey, folks, Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We are. I was listening to a friend of mine who was talking about this. He was saying, "Hey, Sherman, when you do your podcast, you just need to get going. Just get going. Don't make don't make any excuses. Just get going and just do it. And of course, your first 100 will be tough. They'll be bad. They'll be terrible. And as a matter of fact, I need a little bit more light because this lighting is really bad. So excuse me one second. I know the folks are watching us. We actually have our sound up now. So you folks who are on YouTube, you can actually hear us, which is cool. Hang on one second, folks. I'm gonna do a little more lighting here, just because I think the lighting is just bad. If you've got the lights, might as well use them, right? Why not? All right. If you actually have the lights, why not use them? And so, excuse me for this, folks, but we'll be fine after this, I'm sure. I'm sure we will. It's probably a little bit better, anyways. Okay. Probably a little bit better lighting on that side. Yeah, it's probably a little bit better. So I'm going to turn up just a little bit more, and that way, and then more lighting on my face. Okay. So it's probably a little bit better. Only thing we need to do right now, I think, is probably turn down a little bit of sound over there. Just for now. No, I think we're good. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. Got a lot of stuff to do here today. Let's turn on the podcast, and we will get going. Here we go. And good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast, where we highlight the people, the places, and the trends to feed your mind, your body, and your spirit. And today, folks, we are we're doing some live remote stuff, like we were saying before, over on YouTube, and we're trying to do a lot of stuff all at the same time, which is probably a big mistake. But but you know what? That's what life is about. It's about making a lot of mistakes. So we're going to make as many as we can possibly do, just to keep us going. So yesterday we were doing this podcast. And I spent probably about a half an hour videotaping it on YouTube. Come to find out that we literally did not have any sound the entire time. I know, it's just crazy, but that's what happens sometimes. You think you're doing good, and then you find out that no, not only are you doing bad, you're doing really bad. And so that's what happened. Is we actually had no sound the entire time. I kind of figured we didn't because I could hear it and I could actually see that there were some buttons and some lights that should have been flashing. They weren't, and so that's just the way it is. But that's all right. We're up and running now, and we'll move forward. What happened this morning? If you did not check it out this morning, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. She was actually laying in state now. She's laying in state in the Capitol building. First woman that's done that. And so I don't know if you guys caught this, but the woman who sang at her, I don't know what they call this. They probably call it something. They got some official name for it, I'm sure. But her name was Denise Graves. And Denise Graves is a mezzo-soprano. And she just killed it. She really did. If I was going to have a send-off, that's the kind of send-off I want. So, team, if I get a chance, and if I have to kick off early, I want to have some mezzo-soprano with a deep sister voice. You know what I'm talking about? That rich voice that only a woman like Denise Reeves or somebody like that can do. So that's why I want to be sent off. Also, I guess on another note, we are going to be doing our podcast via YouTube Live. And we're going to be doing this probably every morning now. What time is it now? It's about 8:30. So we'll be doing it probably about 8:30 every morning. Looking really forward to this. I'm really looking forward to just kind of getting out there and just starting to do this on a daily basis. I've got a camera over here too, but I'm going to probably start using more of just my webcam to do this until I can get a better camera. If you would like to, if you'd like to see my pretty face on a regular camera, I just really encourage you, go ahead and give. Just give as much money as you possibly can. You can send it to us, blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. Just send it to us. And more than happy to go out and buy a great camera. I've got a Canon that I've had here for a number of years, and it just doesn't hook up to all this here. And I need to have something that really works out really well. Let's get on to our first story, because if we don't, we're going to probably blow through some stuff that we don't want to do here. First story here is really on an article that we put up on Instagram this morning. And that story is really about if you do these certain things on a daily basis, that you're going to actually be able to see a longevity in life. I mean, like you wouldn't believe. And what is that thing they're talking about? Well, they're talking about exercising. I mean, really, if you exercise in the morning, so it's this is an Income article, and really the show is really about anything that's going to help you. We can help you become a better business owner. That's what it's all about. I'm going to try to get you as much information as I possibly can on a daily basis that we use over here at Black Success Magazine. We use it with our business owners at the chamber, that kind of stuff. And so that's really kind of what it's all about, is we just try to get you as much information as we can. What we'll do is, because we're going to get to a hard break here, but what I'll do is when we come back from our break, we'll go over this article. And if you just do this thing 2 minutes every 2 hours, scientists say you'll be a smarter person. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast, and we'll be back in just a minute. All right. Yeah, I think I got that right. Okay. So we're going to work on our lighting just a little bit more here. I think for the next show, maybe we'll do something even better for lighting. These are kind of weird. Excuse me 1 second, folks. I know we got people watching. This is the miracle of broadcasting. Let's get back to this. All right. Folks, we're back. Let's do this. Okay, and welcome back, folks, to the show. Let's get this thing back on. All right, and welcome back to the show, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We are doing everything we can to try to get something out there, folks. This is really what it's all about. It's about putting out some kind of quality, if not quality podcasting. It's quality podcasting, maybe not quality video. So we're always experimenting and trying to get this out. And maybe we'll even share this to like Facebook at some point, just try to get it out on YouTube, Facebook, all those things. It'll definitely be on YouTube. Like I said, we'll be with you pretty much every morning, 8:30 in the morning till about, 9 o'clock-ish or something like that. Let's get back to this article. This is very interesting. It's an article that says, this is in Inc. magazine. It says, if you do this for 2 minutes every 2 hours, scientists say you'll be much smarter. It's very interesting. Especially if those 2 minutes occur just before you need to do something important. Okay. Entrepreneurs face considerable mental and emotional challenges making decisions every day, and they hope they will pay off for years to come. So you probably know that exercise helps you perform better under stress, that exercising at moderate intensity for 20 minutes elevates your mood for up to 12 hours. Good stuff. Exercise increases the production of a protein that supports the function, growth, and survival of brain cells. And that exercise is one of the 5 daily habits a 30-year Harvard study shows can not only increase your lifespan up to 12 to 14 years, but also cut your risk of Alzheimer's in half. Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold already. Because if this thing can cut my chances of getting Alzheimer's, I'll say in half. And I exercise every day. I mean, pretty much every day. You can't see what, below my waist right here right now, folks. But I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing my spandex because I was just working out this morning. And I try to every day because I like to eat. I like to eat a lot. And so they're saying that, 2 minutes of aerobic exercises, 2 hours of higher brain power. Oh my gosh, that's cool. So if you do this, 2 minutes of aerobic exercise gives you 2 hours of higher brain power, as one of the researchers writes. Exercise makes you smarter. That's very cool. Intuitively, that makes sense. I always feel sharper after I exercise, but I've had no scientific basis behind it. Attributed that to clearing my head. Exercise, especially vigorous exercise, tends to strip away the clutter and recenter me. I'm kind of digging this. I like this already, in that it's already saying that by that you exercising, it releases some things in you. We are really focusing in on this, especially during COVID time, is where you have a lot of business owners, especially Black business owners, Black people on a success journey that are being hit by COVID big time. And it's generally because of the stuff we eat. Generally, the foods we eat and the lack of exercise that we get. So one of the things we want to do is we want to continue just to really focus in on this. Focus in on this. Gone are the days of being really big. I mean, just big people. But one of the things we want to do is you really want to work on, especially as you get older. You probably don't know how old I am, folks, but I am probably a lot older than you think. I'm 80 years of age. Okay, so I'm not 80 years of age, but I am not a young spring chicken anymore. And so one of the things I have to do all the time is I have to exercise pretty much every day in order just to keep up with the younger folks that are around me. So what should you do? So to reap the benefits of exercise on mental performance, the key is to exercise before and in close connection with whatever you need to do. This is interesting. Exercise before and in close connection with whatever you need to do. So if you're going to get going on whatever, like this podcast. So what I'll do in the next block is I will exercise a little bit more before the block starts, and then I'll see if I'm a smarter, sweeter guy. Okay, so we'll do that. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine. We're going up on another break. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll exercise a little bit and see what it does to me. See if it actually brings up some endorphins or something like that. It's pretty cool. Not a bad idea. Excuse me.
91.5 Jazz and More means variety.
So my exercise right now, okay, I should get some weights. I've got a mat over here. My camera's really not liking this light. Let's go back to the show, folks. I think we got some more interesting things that we want to talk about a little bit. All right, we're coming back. I know that was abrupt one. Okay. Okay. All right, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, and we were in the break here. We were talking about possibly doing a maybe some exercising before we came into this C block. But I was busy doing something else. I was busy looking at something. I was busy kind of reading an article. Because it's tough. We're multitasking right now, folks. We're doing more than multitasking. I've got a lot of stuff I'm really trying to do here. And we've got a whole new setup. So we're trying to do our podcast and at the same time do our video over on YouTube at the same time. So, and you know, it's just a lot of stuff you're trying to do. So, and plus I've got an article on my mind. But one of the things we're talking about is that they said if you do this every 2 hours, scientists say that if you exercise every 2 hours, and specifically before you are ready to do something important, that you will actually have a clearer mind. You'll be able to do some great things with it. So they said they'll do a little experiment, and they said they would do. This guy said he's going to do 50 burpees, and if you don't know what a burpee is basically kind of what you do is you're a kid. If let's say you're throwing a tantrum, and you fall down on the ground, you lay on the ground, and you see that mom's not going to pick you up, so then you get back up and you stand up and you jump up. Okay, that's what a burpee is. You fall down, throw a tantrum on the ground, lay out really flat, like you're praying on the ground, face down. You get back to your knees, you get back up. Okay, that's a burpee. So the guy said he did 50 burpees. Then he monitored his heart rate. So he monitored his heart rate. And so for those of you that are listening on YouTube right now, this is the miracle of what happens when you're actually at home. So we stopped the tape, but we're gonna continue. So the guy said he monitored his heart rate, and he breathed and breathing to see how long it took him to recover. as well as how long it took him to stop sweating. In 6 minutes, he was good to go. So he said that he was actually pretty good. Unless you want to be hot, sweaty, messy, you want to do the same. So I guess unless you just want to be sweaty all day long, doing all your stuff, that you probably should kind of monitor this thing. You don't want to just jumping around all day long, sweating all day long. You have to really kind of think of this. Just to keep in mind that the exercise has to be an aerobic in nature. The research focused on moderate to vigorous walking, running, and cycling. But any exercise that elevates your heart rate to say 60 to 70% of your max heart rate should work. Okay. So going for a walk and run isn't always practical, and the quickest way to get you sucking wind is to do burpees. That might be the way to go. So if your space is limited, jumping rope will work. So will mountain climbing, squat jumps, any exercise that elevates your heart rate into the moderate to vigorous range. So that's not bad that you could do this. As for the optimal length of exercise, the results were mixed. One study says benefits as little as 2 minutes. Others studied the effect of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 20 minutes. So, but they say you can do it 2 minutes. And really, for a lot of us, that's really kind of where our day is at. You don't want to spend all day long trying to, get sweaty because it's just impractical and, it's nasty. I mean, think about it. You're just sweating. Okay, I got a presentation. I'm jumping up and down. I'm going to get going. And you walk in and you got that line. You got that line under your armpits, right? And it's probably not the most practical thing. You've done 15 minutes, but you can do 2 minutes. So do 2 minutes and maybe a little light cardio. Maybe you've got a little bit of, something you're going to jump up and down just a little bit just to get you going. That probably more than suffice. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk about how to become a better leader. And not just because I said so, but there's a scientific method to actually you becoming a better leader. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. And I think we'll be able to get in a couple more stories today. We really encourage you folks, if you like what you're hearing today, go to our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine.com. If you like the video you're watching, subscribe to it. Subscribe down below you here, and you can be part of our subscription and get us moving towards where we're going to be touching a lot of people. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll be back in just a minute. Not science facts. All right. We're almost done. Back in a second. All right, here we go. No, we don't want to be. We don't want to be rude. So, okay. Let's get back to the show. Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hang on 1 second here. So what happens, folks, is we will all of a sudden get emails. All right. And we are back, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And we are simulcasting this on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch us while we're doing this and see what happens during the time that we're not on our podcast, you just you can go to Black Success Magazine on YouTube, and you can actually check out our live stream. So we live stream, and we're going to be doing this every single day between like 8:30, 9:30, something like that. We'll start about 8:30, but who knows how long we're going to go. Generally, it'll be probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes that it takes us to do the entire thing. And then we'll get the podcast up, though. The podcast will be up on Anchor FM, Radio Public. It'll be on Google Podcasts, and Breaker. It'll be out on that. There's actually quite a few more that we're actually on. And as I check every day, it seems like we're getting picked up by more and more stations, which is great. Because this is what we do at Black Success Magazine. You know, we look for the people, the places, the trends, tech, anything that's going to affect you as a business owner that is going to edify you, it's going to lift you up so you can be a more effective leader. That's really what it's all about. We spend as much time as we can on exercise, because exercise really is probably going to be one of the easiest and most simple ways of getting you going. I learned many years ago that if you want to be a person who is going to have a stick-to-itiveness, going to be that kind of person that's going to have a drive, and that you really look for, you don't mind the hours and hours and hours that it takes to get from here to there. Learn how to run. I mean, not just run, but training for a long distance run. If you train for a long distance run, and this is really powerful stuff, you train for a long distance run, you will learn that there is that there are benefits to sticking with something for a long period of time. Now, nobody's going to be a marathon runner in 1 week, and you're not going to learn it in 1 month. It will take you months and months of getting up each and every morning and adding to the mileage that you had the day before. I trained for a marathon back in 2012 and in 2015, and it took me months to get to those mile markers. And what did I learn? I learned that delayed gratification is a good thing, and that if you learn how to delay your gratification in order to get to a goal, that will follow you the rest of your life. And I think that's really pretty important, is that we live in a culture right now that just doesn't like that. It just doesn't like delayed gratification. It wants things now. I want to be a YouTube star now. I want to have a podcast that does it now. I want to have a magazine that just does it now. But that really doesn't work that way. Life is full of it's a progressive thing. And you've got to learn to progress to get to your goal. Learning how to run long distance or cycling. I do cycling now because my knees are really bad now from running. So that's another thing you probably need to learn too, is that running can really hurt you, especially the way our bodies are now. Back in the old days when we were all foraging and stuff like that, it really wasn't that big of a problem because that's what everybody did. But nowadays it can be tough. So I transitioned to cycling. And I've got a bike over here, and you don't see it in my cycling gear back over here, but I can ride miles and miles and miles because I learned how to do it when I was running. So that's really important too, is that you learn how to do those things, and it will follow you the rest of your life, because I do that in business now. When I started the Black Business Chamber of Commerce here in Las Vegas, I've been working on it for 7 years now. 7 years. And that's the way I look at everything now. I don't look at things and saying, okay, it's going to be fine if I don't get it done, in a year or two. I'm looking at 10 years now to build this thing out. I'm looking at, which will take me into an advanced stage. So you just have to learn how to do that, and it will pay off in the long run. Okay. So when we get back, we're going to talk about how to become a better leader. I think you're going to enjoy this. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. simulcast on YouTube. We'll be back in just a minute. All right. All right. All right. So we're almost done here, folks. We've had quite a good show here so far. Considering it's our first show that actually you can hear. I think it's pretty cool. What we'll do is for the next show, we'll try to get it better. I'm going to, like I said, if you've got access to a camera, a really good webcam or a Canon or even the new Sony camera that you'd like to bless us with over here at Black Success Magazine, I really encourage you, send it. Send it over here to, you can email me at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. And I'll give you our address and you can send it to us, which will be great. So you'll enjoy this. All right, we're almost done. All right, we are almost done here. All right, let's get going. We're going to run out of time here, folks. I don't want to run out of time here. But we will get this back on. All right. All right, let's get back on the show here. This is Sherman Ray. And we're back, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast, where we focus on the people, the places, and the trends to speak into your mind, your body, and your spirit. We were talking in the last segment about exercise or actually in the first segment we were talking about exercise. In the second segment, we kind of transitioned to talking about running long distance and how that really can help you as a to get that long-term range, that long-term goal on things. I want to transition just a little bit to talk a little bit about something that's even probably, it kind of speaks to the same thing, and it's really about how to get out of your comfort zone. We all have a comfort zone. There's a lot of things we do that make us very comfortable, so we tend to not get out of that. We just don't want to stretch out, and that can be detrimental to us. I mean, it really can be. We call that being in a rut, where you get in a comfort zone and you're just saying, okay, I'm only used to going this far at this speed with this much intensity. And I think many times what can happen is you just kind of lose the benefits, and you don't really realize how far you can really push yourself. When I learned how to run long distance, I mean, very extreme long distance, I was running a half marathon every weekend. Okay, many people go, "Oh no, you need to rest, you need all this stuff." No, I was doing it. I was training for a marathon, And my regimen meant that I had to run at least a half a marathon every time I ran. So you can't go backwards. There's no like I can run 5 miles. No, you have to run 26.2. So it means the least I could ever run was about 13.1. That's all, and that's just the way it was. For months, I was running that distance every weekend. And people are going, man, Trim, you're losing all this weight and everything else. I'm going, well, yeah, I'm training for something. Never knowing that I was training my body to move to a different level all the time. You can do that in anything in life. And that's really what this segment's about. And it's about really 5 reasons why you need to get out of your comfort zone. Number 1, it develops your inner strength. This is an article in Fast Company. Well, I've got to give the attribution to this person, Harvey. Harvey Deutschendorf. Okay? So, Harvey, thank you for this article. Pretty cool stuff already. You develop your inner strength. We know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Yet, that is exactly what some people do in their everyday lives, making themselves feel stuck and unhappy. Implementing something new that makes us uncomfortable, like picking up a new hobby or making a new friend, will help us build our inner strength. Even if we fail, which often happens, we will have an experience that we can draw upon in the future. Put together, these experiences will act as building blocks that will allow us to lead a more meaningful life. So that's kind of what we were talking about before, is that you've got to begin to say, I got to start breaking out of what I'm doing, because you're going to be able to use this in the future. Number 2, it builds your confidence. Confidence is not something we are born with. It's a skill that we can build by setting goals, achieving those goals, and setting more goals to pursue. In order to develop confidence, we need to face our fears and take a risk. We all know the exhilarating feeling that comes with achieving something that we were not even sure we could do before. The more goals we set and achieve, the future or the further our confidence will soar. I'm telling you, this is what happened as I was running. I was building my endurance up. Man, I was like just a rock star. You couldn't tell me I wasn't cool. And that's really kind of that's what happens when you break out of your comfort zone, is you find out, man, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Get this confidence. That's not a cockiness. It's really about saying, I am better. I know I can do more. And every time you do something more, the more you know that you can do. And that's the coolest part. There's kind of a couple more points that we're going to go through. We're going to run out of time here, though. But when we come back, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you need to get out of your comfort zone. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll be back in just a moment. All right. Well, very cool, huh? What do you think? Doing not too bad. Got some things to work on, but I think it'll work out good. And what we'll do is we'll get a wider screen on this thing, and we'll bring in some folks that will be able to help us out as far as that lighting is really bad on this side of my face. But it's all right. Next time we do this, we'll work on some lighting on this side too, to balance out the lighting, because it's just really very, very bright on this side. Or we'll turn it or something like that. Maybe I should exercise before I do this. Okay. Excuse me, folks. All right, let's go ahead and finish this up, folks. All right, and we are back, folks. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine podcast. Doing a little bit of a new format here. We're not only are we doing the podcast, but we're actually videotaping the podcast over on YouTube. So if you'd like to check out our YouTube channel, it's Black Success Magazine. And if you like what you're seeing, we really encourage you to subscribe. If you're getting some value out of this, just subscribe to our channel. We'll be updating this on a daily basis. So you'll be able to check us out. Invite your friends, tell people about it. Email us. Leave us some comments and say, hey, Sherm, really enjoying what you're doing here. We can actually hear you this time. If you have some suggestions, we'd love to hear your suggestions. So that's kind of where we're at on this whole thing. Be a short segment here because we want to finish up with plenty of time to get our podcast up and running around. But we're on 5 reasons why you need to get out of your comfort zone. Number 3, it makes you more adaptable to change. Okay, the more time we stay inside of our comfort zones, the scarier new territory will appear to us. But the world is changing rapidly, and those who fear change risk getting left behind. For people who are already pushing their comfort zone, change will not appear as frightening. Instead, they will welcome a new project at work or learning a new language or as a challenge that can open up possibilities for growth that were not there before. So the longer that you stay in your comfort zone, you're like this, the harder it is for you to do this. But the more that you're actually able to accept change, the more that you will, when you see change, the more you'll be able to adapt to it, the quicker you will be. And unfortunately, what happens in this day and age that we're living in, there's a lot of people who just don't want to change at all. And because of that, they're probably going to get left behind. That's really kind of the sad commentary on this whole thing. Number 4, I'm going to make this really quick. It makes you more creative. There's nothing worse in our creativity than never straying from the path of what you tried, of what is tried and true. The longer you are unwilling to entertain new thoughts, ideas, and ways of going deeper, the more we slip into a rut. That's huge. And we're all creative people. We've got to be able. You don't want to get stuck. You just don't want to get stuck. That's the scary part about it. And number 5, before we run out of time. Number 5. I'm sorry. Things pop up on your screen all the time. You won't otherwise know what could have happened. Ooh. Those who have never ventured far will never know what might have been if they tried to do things beyond what they initially felt they could manage. Wow. All successful people have taken risks, failed, picked themselves up, and risked again until they figured it out. And that is crazy. I'll tell you, this is probably one of the things that touches me the most, is I am the kind of person that will jump out of a plane and then figure out how to fly as I'm going down. And you've got to get that kind of mindset in your mind as a leader, because if you don't, you will never know what woulda, coulda, shoulda happened. You don't want to live that kind of lifestyle. Hey, this has been Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine podcast. We really thank you so much for being a part of the show. And we hope that if this has impacted you, if this has been a good thing for you, especially if you're watching YouTube, subscribe to our page, subscribe to our channel, and say, hey, Sherman, we really like what you're doing. We'd like to hear from you. Just send us an email, blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. You can find our our videos and our podcasts on our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com. And we'll be back again tomorrow morning, 8:30, for the Black Success Magazine podcast. This has been Sherman Wright. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, folks. Bye-bye. And for those folks that were with us on YouTube, we really encourage you to be a part of this on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends that, hey, guess what? There's this new show that's coming on. It's called Black Success Magazine Podcast. What we'll do is maybe next week we'll extend this to maybe even an hour, because there's so much more. I mean, there's so much I could be talking about. I got tons of articles here, tons of things that you can use to make your life better. If you'd like to get a copy of our new digital magazine that's going to be coming out, it'll be coming out in November. Send us an email at blacksuccessmagazine at gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine at gmail.com. And we will put you on the list of people who are going to get it. Also, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, of course on Facebook. Got a Facebook page on there, which is real cool. But you got to get a hold of us in order for you to grow as a leader, in order for you to grow as a business person. You need stuff like this on a daily basis to get you going. Because guess what? We're here to help you. This has been Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll see you again tomorrow, folks. Have a nice one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.